As you have said, so I'm Milena. I'm leading linguist from Palex company, and today I will tell you how clients' instructions could be automated by means of Verifika programs. Initially, I will tell you in short, or maybe to remind you what Verifika is. Verifika is a program for automated check of formal quality of translation. We just use both words, formal and automated. So for automated check of translation quality, it helps to indicate diverse mistakes, terminology, consistency of translation, formatting, language standards, so on. That's just a few examples of them. So you could just correct all mistakes in the program itself, and Verifika will check whether there are new mistakes appear or not. Program is very flexible and agile, and you could just develop your own settings profile and then save it. If checking should be repeated, the progress could be stored and then continued. So, and Verifika, you could also customize your check-in processes. Actually, it seems that there are so many different settings of validation check-in, why you should create the new ones. But actually, different clients, almost each client has its own preferences, and each client would like to have different formatting or translation style, or like how he or she would like, not like all others. And also, we could should not forget about human factor. And some of us tend to have some mistakes or to make some strange mistakes. Okay. Please look at this letter, client letter on this slide. Client has some demands, some requirements. They are specific ones, and they are not corrected and checked by standard program. So of course, client pays additional attention to fulfillment of these rules, of these requirements. Even if your text is ideal, is edited and proofreaded, but if there are such small mistakes, then just the quality result is worse, and but manually it's very ineffective to check this rules and requirements. So without any programs and check quality programs, you should just open text and check clause by clause, sentence by sentence. But even such mistakes could not be found in this text. If you're a linguist, you could just check and correct. But if you're a manager and you accept translation, you should not correct such mistakes now, but you should make a report and send it to a linguist. So it means copy paste, and send them this report to a linguist. But with Verifika program, all these problems could be solved only by pressing one button in this program. Okay, let's look how it works. Initially, we will look on some examples of already prepared check-in profiles, and then we will have separate tasks, and I will ask you to answer my questions. So what is a check? It's just a template for search. You should indicate which results should be considered are incorrect, or which we would like just to check twice. For example, we have an example of our clients that the word "еще" should be written with the special character "yo." If we have in this word this word written with the character "yeah," we should add this to the target text, and we should add this to the purpose in order to understand, for program to understand what should be done. But please pay your attention to these letters in the end of the search lines. By means of these letters, you could just do search by text, you could do case-sensitive search by whole words, regular expressions, and power search. How do you think? Do we need some of these parameters here, or any of them? Like, okay, case-sensitive. Case-sensitive. It's just automatically by default turned off. If we turn it off, then we will have case-sensitive search. Here we don't need case-sensitive. Yes, actually. Yes. If we press W button, then we will have case we will have the whole word match search, and then we will not have additional just false mistakes. We could just press button W and have a search by exact words match. So the check is ready. Let's look how it looks in the report. The report is like this. We will have here all segments where in the target text we will have the word еще with case sensitive and with and also the searches for the whole word and written with the character here. Okay, let's go further to the next clause of the letter. The next requirement is to have special formatting of the contact number, telephone number. There's special telephone number, specified one, and client would like to have special formatting with such grouping of the numbers and with such spacers. Any other formatting is incorrect. But of course, we can't just list all the possible formatting, incorrect formatting. That's why we have here the next parameter of Boolean logic. If we press P button, then the space will mean E, or will mean Ili, and minus sign will mean no. By this method, we could just indicate all necessary numbers using the space character, and it means then this we will have all the necessary telephone numbers in the target text, but still we don't need here a correct version of the of this formatting. That's why we need to make an additional indicator. In brackets, we put a correct number with the minus sign prior to this correct formatting. It means that we don't want to have correct formatting in the report. So the template is ready. We added the name of the check, and we just indicated the correct one, and we didn't want to have it in report, and report could look like this. Actually, several examples or several samples of incorrect writing, and we could see which one is correct and what we should do with it. Let's go to the next one, to the next point of instruction. According to client's requirements, each round bullet should be changed in target text into M dash. That's why for us it's important, and for us it's important here to have both source text and target text. That's why in the source text we should put here round bullet. But what should we indicate in the target text? It could be diverse set of options. That's why we should put here, we should search for correct option M dash, but we will define another form or type of search. By default, it's just indicated here to find in target and source text. But here we should indicate search by match in source text, but no in the target text. But in Russian language, M dash, it's really more often used as a punctuation sign, but not as a bullet sign. That's why we should also add additional parameters. That's why we need regular expressions usage. This is just an example of such segment where by mistake round wallet is used in translation and in source text, and that's why we should use here additional search of with usage of regular expressions. Regular expressions is such a language with by which we could just replace signs, different signs or characters by other signs or characters. Very often I use just Russian Wikipedia. We should search, we should find any article, help article. We need M dash in the beginning of the line, so we should search for beginning of the line, beginning of the segment. So using control search, I could use such, for example, such character. It's like such circumflex. We could just copy this character and put it prior to the needed character that we should search. It means that programmer now knows that it should search for the m dash prior in the beginning of the line. So here we could see a report. In the target text, everything in the beginning of the line except of the correct option. And in the segment, in the one of the segments, you could see that just among the words you could see m dash, but that's an incorrect one because it's not in the beginning of the line. And the next one more indicator is just search by text. If we press tab button, it means then Verifika will just define text like an ordinary text and will search just indicated characters equally by text and by text. Why we could need it? For example, a translator doesn't want to use text properly and just places them in the end of the line. Formally, everything is in place. So text segment has this text, but programs could just don't verify them. But as a result, we don't have any formatting that we need. Just what we could have, for example, two tags in sequence, and we could search by two tags. By two bold tags, but we don't need, for example, bold tags. We could just verify. We would like to have such mistake, such check for any text, bold, italic, or any other. That's why we could combine text search with regular expression. We could press two buttons, R and T, and we replace text with regular expressions. This point with asterisk, it's just a standard combination of signs or characters. It means any quantity of any characters. It means to any text that are in sequence, one after another without text. So we could put title it like empty text and look at the report. You could see that we have here segments with missed words between the text, and we have found mistakes with text, with italic and bold text, and these two texts, very long texts, the text that consists of a great number of characters. And if we just do it manually, that's we for sure would miss this mistake. That's why combination of text with regular expressions gives great results. So tasks. So we have looked at different parameters. Let's have independent work right now. The work will be done in the following manner. We have an instruction on the slide, the example of correct and incorrect wording, or if there are in the end of the line two brackets, one bracket should be just missed, and incorrect one when in the end two brackets still placed. And there are four samples of the check. They are just listed as 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will tell you more about what we should do with them. This is just a simplified option here. Search regimes here are by default target and source text, and no parameters are chosen. Any source case sensitive and no by default. And so we are only interested in search by source and target text. How do you think which check option we should choose in order to find all mistakes in this example? The third one. Yes, you are right. Now, I will tell you why. You could maybe understand that we are interested in those segments where in translation text and target text we have two brackets. And we have here the first one and the third one. The difference is that in the first one, the program will check also source text for one bracket, and in the third option, there are no limits for the source text. So anyway, we will have one bracket, at least one bracket, if we have two brackets in the target text. But yes, the probability is high, but why should we risk? That's why we choose the third option for check, and we will find all examples. Okay, great. Let's go further. This is an instruction and could be more difficult. I will just tell you more how it works. Ampersand just is usage for hotkeys, and they should be shifted to target text also. For example, a language and settings, letter A is just letter R is underlined, and if a customer presses Ctrl and A, then it will mean settings, hotkey settings. So what we should do in the target text, we should just shift hotkey ampersand prior to the letter, to that letter that we would make hotkey. For example, with the letter Ya, it will mean language and settings. And then if we press type ampersand and Ya, then it will mean language and settings hotkey. It's very important checking. It's very important. It's just work of the program. So this check is very important. That's why we should preserve it. For checks, now we will work with another part. We are interested right now in search modes. We search for ampersands and in source and target text, but which search mode we should choose? Please, do you see or should I read? Someone said that you should read. Yes, I could read for you. The first check is to do by default by search and target text. The second, match of found in search and not found in target text. Third, match exists in target text, no in the search text. And the fourth, different number of matches in search text and target text.
Number 4 is the same once again. Oh no, you were very quick once again. So now we could use the match we could search for matches to find out if we missed anything. But this way we will find just the first error when we missed the first ampersand. But we need to use the other search, because 1 ampersand and 0 ampersands would be different number of characters. But it's not that simple. It's not enough to copy them, to copy this sign. You need to know how to use it. For example, you do not use it before certain characters, such as capital, the, tse, and sha, and lowercase d, r, u, f, tse, and sha, because they have those tags that would fall over the line, and if you underline the text, it will look not pretty or illegible. So if you're using the color scheme, ampersand in front of ye is good, but if you use it in front of tse, the text will be illegible. Now these 4 checks are a bit more difficult, but you did a good job. So let's look into the first 3 types of search found in the source and in the target, and the final one was found in the source and was not found in the target. There are different search parameters, and you can see them, the legend below. It's case sensitive, regular. And then this vertical line, this means or vertical dash. It means or. And then this, you can see this long line in the translation field. Does anybody know what it means, or maybe could guess what line number 4 means? Line number 4 means that there is one of those letters from the regular expression is either 1 or either the first or the second or the third, and it's case sensitive after the ampersand. You're right. But no, what I mean, it's missing. It's missing in line 4. Oh, so you are answering my question already. Just a second. Line number 4 shows us what it should look like, and line number 2 shows us what it should not look like. This is what we're trying to find, and correct. We need to use line number 2. Yeah, okay, hold on. Let me think of how to put it. You are right when you say that this means that ampersand in front of any of these characters. If we have several options, we use the regular expressions and we use the vertical dash to separate them. This is what we often do when we do spell checks and other types of checks. As to number 4, you are right. If we do not find, if we have no match in the target, then we will be able to find all of the instances when we use the ampersand in front of the right letters, but we need to see the errors here. So we could opt for the second check, and we need to make sure that our search is case sensitive, by the way, because it is not by default. And when we search, we're not just looking for both lowercase and uppercase. We are making sure that those lowercase letters do not hang over the line. Okay, now this one is even more difficult. But let's see. It has to do with how you spell these iPhone models. If you use the tags, it's lowercase. If not, then it's uppercase. This is the right and wrong way to do it. If it's the other way around, then you need to check it. The thing is, we use the small caps font here, and your character will look as if it's an uppercase letter, but its size will actually be as in the lowercase. So these are the 4 checks for you. Different search types, different text that you search for, different parameters. If you look at the screen or at the slide, you will see that we have some regular expressions, the symbols that we are already using, and you will be using them. This is the vertical dash, the bullet, and or the asterisk, and the dot, and also what we have in the source and have in the target. So tell me which one of these is wrong for sure. Number 1. Use the mic, please, because our case-sensitive search should be activated. Okay, and mind the tags. If we just use the brackets for the tags, but you don't specify the symbol, then the software will look for 2 tag brackets, for 2 sequential tag brackets. And then number 4, it has to be case sensitive, that's right. And which one is correct out of those that are left? I think it's number 3. Why? That's difficult to explain. Okay, look. The dot stands for any symbol. The second check will find it, because this is why we're doing the whole thing. This is the point. Yes, first of all, this is the search type found in the source, not found in the target. What does it mean? This means that we will find the segments which do not contain the incorrect spelling of the iPhone model. But the thing is, the segment might not contain anything of that sort. It could say dear user or whatever. This is not what we want, so we will find a different search type to look for the matches in the source and in the target. And then you might want to use the dot and the asterisk if you are not sure what's in the tag. Now we're talking about the symbol. It is just one symbol, you're right, it's just one. But this does not necessarily have to be that. It could be just the small caps font, and then the check will not work. Now we check the parameters, the regular expressions, the search type. So perfect. I'm sure that you can manage this. So those are the tasks that I had prepared for you. Now we need to test the profile and to look into the report and to see what we get in the end result. As you can see, when the ampersand is missing, it's an error, or when we have several of those. Now the ampersand in front of the lowercase r, and then we have the segments with 2 brackets in a row, and we do not look into the source. And then we use the capital R, and we can see that our check is complete. So we have just spent, including the actual check, we would spend about 15 to 20 minutes. This is how much it would approximately take if we had to do it manually. But if we spend this time using Verifika, we will not be able to check just the existing project. Instead, we will be able to apply the same approach to other projects of the client with the same instructions. And this is what we do in Palex all the time. And I am sure that Verifika will be helpful to you as well. Using the tools that it offers, you will save an enormous amount of time. You will meet the instructions from your client, the requirements, the deadlines, and any number of the instructions. Thank you for your attention. I understand that this information can be complex to catch, but here are our contact details. Feel free to email me, feel free to visit or contact our website admin, and you can ask your questions now if you have them. Could your system be imported? Could other rules from similar tools be imported into your system from Xbench, for example, if the company is already using a set of rules that were developed in a similar system with similar functions, but say somebody would like to switch to Verifika without losing the database that they already have, because a lot of work has been done. Of course, we support the import of Xbench checklists and from the Palex as well. So you could use similar formats. You could import them and keep working with them as if they were created using our software. Any other questions? A quick one from me. At Palex, do you use this tool for all of the projects that you send to your translators? Yes, we create profiles for our flows, and we use it for regular customers, for regular clients, of course. But we do not always leave it up to the freelancers, because often we have our project coordinators or checkers do this, and then they get back to the linguist with the report, because there could be some issues with the installation. Although we are transferring to the cloud, we're going to be browser-based and easier to use. But for similar projects, it could be done, especially if you have the self-guide, because, of course, you can have your instructions for the translator, but you can never be sure that they are following through. You need to use the mic. How soon are you planning to add new languages? I am wondering in particular about the Kazakh language and Ukrainian spell check. You mean both grammar and spelling? Well, that depends on the dictionary. We are using Microsoft Word dictionaries. If you have the respective plugins, it will work, but if you're using the Word document, but usually I use the handspell. Unfortunately, I don't have the screenshot for you, but it's what I do. So you open the settings tab, you go for the spell check and grammar, and then instead of the Microsoft Word, you flag hand check dictionary, and then it will upload the languages such as Kazakh or Ukrainian. They are supported, but for other languages, if you're using Word and you want to spell check Kazakh language, then you would need additional plugins or other software. Okay, one final question then before we move on. Do you have any plans to support this cross-platform check, such as language tools? It is open source, but you could connect to it to check the grammar. It's available for 20-something languages, including Russian. Well, I will make note of this question. Just as a short remark, I'm the lead linguist. I'm more on the user side. I don't have any information as regards our future plans, but I'm sure this would be interesting for anyone working with the Ukrainian. Not just, we're talking about other European languages, and we're checking not just the grammar, well, we're also checking style, including for Russian. Well, this is interesting. Language tools, you say, right? Thank you.
Is it possible to have these verification checks converted into an autocorrect list, so that when you have this error, it automatically gets autocorrected as the translator performs that translation?
It could.
Because it is possible in SDL Studio. I have customized.
Because this is in the CAT tool. However, Verifika is not CAT tool.
Yes, I know, but you can create something in the CAT tool to allow you to autocorrect those.
У нас.
Yes. I know, yes, but some of the items are not false positive.
Прости, я на русском можно.
If some people do a serious typo that is repeated across all files, and sometimes you would want these to be auto-corrected immediately.
Ну, это я по-русски. I will talk in Russian. It's easier for me.
Okay,
Sorry,
yeah.
Use your headphones.
Right now, we are using this to. We're using Verifika to do what I just showed you. We are planning to have the button, the Verifika button, or using the Alt-A hotkeys. We're planning this. But if we're talking about CAT tools right now, Verifika does not provide you any information as to the errors. You would need to go to Verifika interface. But as I said, we're planning the transition to the browser version, and the CAT tools are also becoming cloud-based, so maybe it would be easier to integrate later on. But right now, this is just within the Verifika interface.